I am wild. The animal part of me grows stronger daily. It hides amongst bracken and under old tree roots. It sees the small things in fabulous detail and is gentle with them. It loves to hold and be held, to show you the treasures it has found, to follow you on your own wild wanderings, to feel rooted in its feeling of itself. It is not always graceful. It makes mistakes and stumbles over bracken in puppyish excitement. It can crash your teddy bear's picnic. Perhaps because of this, I've mistrusted my animal self, feared showing it to others, kept it hidden away in the woods, in seaside caves, under heavy rocks. Now I see it. I feel how well it knows the core of me, how sensitive it's feeling for others, how hard it tries to connect. It is the feeling part of me I tried to tame for safety, while my thoughts and reasonings swirled and looped, untethered and ungrounded. Now, I feel and see more and more through my animal self. I am learning to show that part of me, to let it be seen. It is the light on the lake and the rushing of the waters. It is the salt on my cheek when I can taste how I'm feeling. It is your warm safety and cold terror, shared for me to resonate in tune. I realize this is all of me, and it's okay. And I think, and so must be all of you. In my mind, there is a map of the land through time. How the sun felt when garlic mustard grew here. How cold my hands were when I held my first angry young staphylinid, and my startled joy when he bit me. How the earth smelt before the mushrooms emerge. But also, held in the land, there is a map of myself, where I willed the grass to grow over me in my despair, where the beach holds my past, forever scored in the sand but always washing out to sea, an out-breath when I need it, where I saw my forest afresh through loving connection. In my mind, there is a map of the land through time, and in the land, there is a map of me. My year is a journey. It's one I'm getting to know quite well. The familiar winter dark, like the day is too tired from cold to really get going. In winter, I keep to the coasts, perhaps in the hopes that the tides will wash the light back in. The crimson skies bracket each brief day, as if to say, I may be short, but my colour is a promise for the summer to come. And really, do you ever get up early enough to see a sunrise in June? Early this year, I remember thinking, when it's dark and cold again, I will have done so much. I wonder if I'll be warmed by the new rings of growth around me. How much better will I know this journey and the geography of myself? On the beach, beginnings, endings overlap, cycles merge and separate. I cast my net and pull meanings from the moment. This tide line, this seaweed, this vacated shell. They wash over my memories of this coastline, stirring them, filling the pools afresh. I learn to trust that in this stirring my body knows what it needs to recall and what it wants to say. Moss and bright fungi deck drab wood and stone, their sudden brightness a reminder of when I realized that there is always life and a thirst for growth, even in winter, and how before I learnt to look, I didn't know to see. Sometimes, everything can change when I stop looking for summer life in winter. Then I see Trinity's versicolor, each bracket banded in unique and secret chemistry, Scarlet elfcup in lush red defiance on frozen moss, oak moss to coat the trees when leaves are out of style, sporophytes reaching up from every crevice. This winter and spring I thought about the naming of things, how much less overwhelming it is when there is less to differentiate, when the noise of everything coming into being makes it hard to see, well, the wood for the trees. And how in myself, in the deep woods of my being, I've needed a winter quiet and early spring greening to start to learn and name my feelings. And how in naming them more emerge, that were hidden in plain sight just as the early yellow flowers, aconite, coltsfoot, celandine, were all to me just yellow flowers. But now that I have met them and found their names, each possesses their own meaning and beauty. And each is also tied to my own memory and sense-making. Aconite, strange sadness. Coltsfoot, early hope. Celandine, deep joy. I hold on to the moments, arrange them in my mind as if in a jar, holding on to something of their essence. The briefness of spring and that new shoot's tiny, delicate intensity, the fleetingness of feeling after feeling, despite their momentary brightness. My arrangements simplify and reduce, their vitality will fade, but perhaps, by holding them close just a little longer, I might know them better when new buds bloom again. Summer is loud with life. It is so loud that now in autumn I find it hard to recall its quiet losses. This summer I carried my own losses, and some of others, under dappled tree light as young birds watched, curious, round and new to life. I wondered how their sense of me might shape them. This large being is curious but quiet. They look up at us but cannot fly. Large beings that don't fly don't scare us. I think about the beings I learnt from. I think about how my losses now echo, tug on past feeling, the shape of me formed through so many summers, so many dappled woods. Within me there is a nest, made from old newspapers, dried tea leaves, recycled string and old stamps. I found my way back to it by accident one day, out in the woods. Its walls are still soft and warm, familiar in a way that I couldn't believe I'd forgotten it was home. We are made up of stability and chaos, storms and warm sun, and everything in between. But it can be hard sometimes to see safe harbour when we haven't navigated the storm. I think about how the shape of me is formed by all of that. These are my autumn woods. In winter and spring they recede, almost like I forgot they exist for half the year. So much life and feeling, so much of myself I've entangled into its September richness. Perhaps I can't bear to see it quiet and cold. In these woods, I feel an almost mycelial connection. The chanterelles sweep their secret golden paths yearly across the moss. Hedgehog mushrooms, delicate white spines hanging down like wonderful weird porcelain. Cortinarius semisanguineus, their drab caps hiding, gills bright as blood. And this year in these woods, I think long and hard about connection. I wrestle with disconnect. This is the first time I've done a foray, collected some of every kind of mushroom irrespective of human value. Groups are very much like individuals, and individuals are very much like forests. Every part of them needs to be seen or be connected in order to coexist. Saprophytes decay dead wood, which feeds the living trees, which feed the other life of the woods. I feel so much a part of the ecosystem of this wood. What is my part in the messy, confusing, painful, warm ecosystem of other humans? This week, I thought I saw the geese depart. I used to find their long trailing goodbyes difficult to see, as if they are taking what's left of the year away with them. Today, I learnt that they have always been arriving, not leaving. Are mild winters an oasis from Icelandic chill or Canadian blizzards? Perhaps in Goose World, there are no hellos or goodbyes, just the winter warmth of Aberlady and breeding grounds of Spitsbergen. I wonder how differently I'll feel the next time I see them arrive.